And welcome back once again. This is Amuna. I pray everybody is doing well. I pray everybody's doing well. So I wanted to come on here. I didn't come yesterday, so I hope you had a blessed day. But I said, you know what? I was listening to the book, the Will book on audiobook, okay? And I came across this portion actually just now. So hopefully it'll let me play this little snippet because it led me to be like, hold up. Was this a premeditated slap? You know what I mean? Was it the heat of the moment or was it a seed that was planted in the mind before? So I'm going to do a mic check just to let me know. You guys who have just joined us, let me know if you can hear what I'm about to play, and then we can go from there.
I spent most of my childhood straddling and navigating two cultures.
Let me know if you heard that. Oh no, where did my let me know if you heard that in the comment section, because if not, then I have to go get my thing. Did you hear that portion? Let me go ahead and play it again. 1 second. How do I make this? This is not on the computer. So every device, the StreamYard presents differently. So let me know if you heard that, and I'll play it one more time.
My black world of home and the neighborhood, Resurrection Baptist and Daddy-O's shop, and the white world of school, Catholic church, and the prevailing culture of America around me. I get into more trouble for doing the same things my white classmates would do.
Again, can that be heard? Because I kind of want you to be able to hear it for yourself. If not, then I'm going to have to give me 2 seconds. Let me, if it could be heard, then we could proceed. If not, then I'm going to have to switch devices. Hold on 1 second. Let me go ahead and play the commercial, and then we'll be right back. And this has been brought to you by the Yummy Cottage. So let's play a Yummy Cottage commercial, and then we're going to get into this video. All right, I'm not getting a sound check, so I'm gonna have to do my own sound check before I get into this. For those who just joined us, welcome to the conversation. My name is Amuna. If you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share. Like I said, you know, YouTube is playing real games, so it is what it is. But I'm gonna have to do this sound check before I proceed. It is playing from Audible, so I'm not sure if they let the audio. I'm gonna come through again. I'm gonna play it one more time. Hold on. So we're going to look at, in his own words, in this recent book that he wrote, whether or not what he did was something that he had pondered about aforetime. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Not what he did.
Wait a minute. I'm going to mute my mic for 1 second. All right. We have confirmation. It can be heard. So essentially, I'm up to chapter 3 in this book of Will's audio book. And what I am listening to is the story that he gives more insight. Like I said, once I start paying attention, it's hard for me to look away till I feel satisfied. So far, I'm seeing a lot of dots being connected with what we are programmed with in our subconscious based on our exposure as children, but that's for another day. Today I want to come to where this is chapter 3. He's talking about these two worlds that he's living in. He's basically coming from a middle-class family, black neighborhood. His father is abusive, but his father's also a provider. He's also present, and there's also some type of turmoil in the home. And he's talking about him leaning on comedy to kind of lift the mood oftentimes. So let's listen. And he's talking about the kind of comedy that he realized that so-called white people liked and black people liked. So I want you to hear something and let me know if I'm tripping or did homeboy say what I think he said.
I got called on less often, and I felt like teachers took me less seriously. I spent most of my childhood straddling and navigating two cultures. My black world of home and the neighborhood, Resurrection Baptist and Daddy-O's shop, and the white world of school, Catholic church, and the prevailing culture of America. I went to an all-black church, lived on an all-black street, and grew up playing with mostly other black kids. But at the same time, I was one of only 3 black children attending Our Lady of Lourdes, the local Catholic K-8. At school, it was impossible to not feel like an outcast. I didn't dress like the white kids. I didn't listen to Led Zeppelin or AC/DC, and I never got my head around the cross. I simply didn't fit in. But back in the neighborhood, I didn't quite fit in either. I didn't talk like the other kids or use slang like they did. My mother didn't allow us to say ain't at home. My mom worked for the school board of Philadelphia, and she was a stickler for words. One day she heard me yell out to my friends, "Hey, where y'all gonna be at?" Her head whipped around in disbelief like the girl from The Exorcist. "I hope they're gonna be behind that preposition," my mom said. At Catholic school, no matter how well-spoken or intelligent, I was still the black kid. In Winfield, no matter how up I was on the latest music or fashion, I was never quite black enough.
Okay, we didn't get to the part yet, but we are leading up in the part of this here story that it's also important to note for me that the energy of when you're born. So he's born in September. Is he born in September? Yeah, and he's a Libra, as they say. And he's looking. You see him towing this line between these two different cultures and trying to find us where to fit in, even though he doesn't really feels like he's fit in. So he has to become this character, not necessarily who he ultimately is, but this type of survival mechanism that he employed on both sides so that he can be accepted. Because earlier on in the story, he talks about him being a coward and not being able to speak up for the abuses that he saw, right? So all of this goes into it. I know I'm picking up the story in the middle, but for the purposes of this video, let's continue to listen.
I became one of the first hip-hop artists who was considered safe enough for white audiences. But with black audiences, I was labeled soft because I wasn't rapping about hardcore gangster shit. This racial dynamic is something that has plagued me in various forms throughout my entire life. But just like at home, performance and humor became my sword and shield. I was your classic class clown, telling jokes, making silly noises, being all around ridiculous. As long as I was the funny kid, it meant I wasn't just the black kid. Funny is colorblind. Comedy diffuses all negativity. It is impossible to be angry, hateful, or violent when you're doubled over laughing.
I found first that when I heard that, I was like, huh? What did he just say? Right? He said what? That it's impossible. Comedy diffuses violence, right? And things of that nature, where it's weird because he had this break, even though he wrote this and he penned this. When time came, one person was laughing, another person was not, and it put him into action. But if anybody knows anything about writing a book, like I've written a book about a semi-autobiographical novel about my life. When you write in the book, it's not like, oh yeah, I just wrote it and I'm done. You write and you revisit and you revisit and you revisit. So to think that this thought that he just said, and I'll rewind, wasn't at the top of his brain or not, it's no longer in your subconscious. This is why when you start writing, especially about your old life, or your prior, your earlier life, you dig up a lot of stuff. And if you don't have a positive place in which to put that stuff, then it stays there. It's still there because you could have. It's like going into the attic, going into the basement, and digging up all of this stuff, and then the next thing you know, it's around. It's not packed away neat and anymore. It's out in the open. So let me go back over here because I find this interesting that it is through the process of writing and finishing this book. Hold on, let me go back.
I was quite black enough. I became one of the first hip-hop artists who was considered safe enough for white audiences. But with black audiences, I was labeled soft because I wasn't rapping about hardcore gangster shit. This racial dynamic is something that has plagued me in various forms throughout my entire life. But just like at home, performance and humor became my sword and shield. I was your classic class clown, telling jokes, making silly noises, being all around ridiculous. As long as I was the funny kid, it meant I wasn't just the black kid. Funny is colorblind. Comedy diffuses all negativity. It is impossible to be angry, hateful, or violent when you're doubled over laughing. But I started to notice that a joke that would kill at Our Lady of Lourdes would garner blank stares in Winfield, and vice versa. I realized that white people and black people respond differently to my humor. My white friends tended to lean into my bigger, broader moments when I was light and silly and displayed a cartoon-like physicality. One of the white boys in Lourdes once tried to light his fart in the bathroom. I thought that was a little far to get a laugh, but it worked. They also liked puns and wordplay, witty sarcasm, and they demanded a happy ending. Everybody had to come out okay. My black friends preferred their jokes more real and raw and demanded a gritty slice of truth at the core of the comedy.
Did we just hear what he said? What did you say? He's saying, he's describing the stage in which, or the position in which Chris Rock, and I'm not caping for any of these people, finds himself. He's playing to a room of mostly Europeans, and he has sprinklings of melanated people in this room. Will Smith is more than aware of the fact that there's different type of humor that's going to hit differently depending on who he's delivering it to. Let me rewind that, because again, he's well aware of the position that Chris Rock finds himself. And according to what Will Smith has penned, certain type of humor is going to require some elements of truth, right? To get over or to be entertaining for melanated people. But for European people, it's something different in his experience. This is him sharing his thoughts. I think this is very interesting because, again, like I said, to have written this and published it and it came out before this is at the forefront of your mind. You are fully aware of the position that Chris Rock's finding himself in. And according to you, being humor diffuses negativity, yet still the humor didn't diffuse the negativity. That's irony. But let me go back. Let me rewind.
They saw my silliness as weakness. Fart kill at Our Lady of Lourdes, telling jokes, making silly noises, being all around ridiculous. As long as I was the funny kid, it meant I wasn't just the black kid. Funny is colorblind. Comedy diffuses all negativity. It is impossible to be angry, hateful, or violent when you're doubled over laughing. But I started to notice that a joke that would kill at Our Lady of Lourdes would garner blank stares in Winfield, and vice versa. I realized that white people and black people respond differently to my humor. My white friends tended to lean into my bigger, broader moments when I was light and silly and displayed a cartoon-like physicality. One of the white boys in Lourdes once tried to light his fart in the bathroom. I thought that was a little far to get a laugh, but It worked. They also liked puns and wordplay, witty sarcasm, and they demanded a happy ending. Everybody had to come out okay. My black friends preferred their jokes more real and raw and demanded a gritty slice of truth at the core of the comedy. They saw my silliness as weakness. I would have got the whole shit kicked out of me if I tried to light a fart in Winfield. They responded better when my humor sprang from strength, from more of a battle mentality, put downs, insults, disses, and nothing played better than smashing somebody who was talking shit. They loved it when someone got what was coming to them. Karmic justice, even if the somebody was them.
So the question then is, I don't know if you heard that part. I'm gonna rewind just a little bit, but he's noting the difference between the comedic appetites of different people groups, and that melanated people, in his estimation of his observation, likes gritty, real truths, with punchlines of disses and undercutting the other personality or the other person, right? Is what some would say the joke that Chris Rock delivered before he delivered the Jada Pinkett joke. One was for a European and the other one was for a melanated person, and he took a gritty reality or the truth of the appearance of Jada to make a joke, right? Chris Rock is in the same position that Will Smith said he would in his survivalist space, he would have found himself. But then the question is, who was he playing to when he got this karmic justice that he often says that people are glad to see? Melanated people are glad to see. Is this why in the beginning people were like, yup, he got what was coming to him? Because Will Smith is more than aware that in one place it doesn't play well, but in the other place it does play well. And these two people are in the same room. Let me rewind that part a little bit. My point being, based on the fact that he penned this, he was well aware of himself. Sometimes we lose the sometimes we lose we play into our emotions. Let me say, greetings, sis, welcome to the conversation. We play into our emotions even though we know right from wrong, even though we're aware when the time comes something else happens. I'm gonna play that part again, because is it karmic justice? That's what I titled this, because this is what he said.
Black people,
wait, hold on.
We got the whole shit kicked out of me if I tried to light a fart in Winfield. They responded better when my humor sprang from strength, from more of a battle mentality, put downs, insults, disses, and nothing played better than smashing somebody who was talking shit. They loved it when someone got what was coming to them. Karmic justice.
They, who? So-called black people, loved it when the jokes had a certain nature to them, when they were demeaning, when they're your mama jokes, when they're dragging on the person's appearance, right? That's the jokes he's saying appeal to so-called black people. And also the so-called black people have the appetite for seeing somebody get what's coming to them. And so the conversation has been, because in times past Chris Rock has repeatedly said whatever he said, maybe he's not going to bring a joke, which some people say, well, I was expecting him to bring a joke. No, he just brought karmic justice, quote unquote, what was coming to him. He essentially deserved. And this may lend to why in the beginning, initially, he didn't apologize to him, because the thought would have been, you got what was coming to you. I bet you're going to start talking now, right? And then later on, when he realized the repercussions, because he's playing to two different crowds at the same time, one has authority, the other does not. Now he starts doubling back, but at this point it's too late. So let's listen to a little bit more, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna keep this one short. I was just taking some time listening to it, because I think here's an interesting storyteller. I'll give him that. He's a very colorful, animated storyteller, and this is on Audible if you haven't checked it out or whatever. So I just wanted to kind of see whether or not what I was surmising had any validity. And so far, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of things. I'm seeing a lot of things that repeated in his life, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Sometimes, like I said, we call things coincidence, but we keep reliving other people's reality until we consciously make a different choice. So this may bring him into another space and time where he needs to step out of this role that he's been playing, this good guy role, and really come to terms with himself. But let's listen to a little more.
Even if the somebody was them. As Black people, we love laughing at ourselves. When we can joke about something, our pains, our problems, our tragedies, it makes them just a little bit more bearable.
I'm not sure if Jada was actually reading this book. I know she said years ago she wanted to write her own book. Maybe she, maybe she didn't read this one. I don't know. But that whole part about laughing at ourselves, yeah, it didn't go over well. Let's listen to that part again.
Mentality, put downs, insults, disses, and nothing played better than smashing somebody who was talking shit. They loved it when someone got what was coming to them. Karmic justice. Even if the somebody was them. As Black people, we love.
So was Chris Rock supposed to love the fact that he got the karmic justice? I'm trying to see how twisted this is. I don't know. How do you guys feel? Let me come over here and see what's going on. This joint sound a little crazy. It sound a little crazy to me. Hold on one second. There's always different pieces that are missing.
Laughing at ourselves. When we can joke about something, our pains, our problems, our tragedies, it makes them just a little bit more bearable. I learned to move between these two worlds. If I was making the kids on the corner laugh, I wasn't getting my ass kicked. If I was making the white kids at school laugh, I wasn't a nigger. If I was making Daddy-O laugh, it meant my family was safe. I began to equate laughter with safety. The little scientist in my head started searching for what I called the number one answer. The number one answer is the perfect mythical joke that obliterates everyone who hears it, no matter their race, creed, color, age, nation of origin, sexual orientation. No one would be safe from the power of this joke. Throughout my career, and quite honestly, my entire life, this has been an obsession for me. I am forever seeking the perfect wording, the perfect tone of voice, the perfect delivery, the perfect physicality, the perfect swagginess, all of which would coalesce into a perfect moment of comedic nirvana and unalloyed human harmony. But despite my aspirations, life at Our Lady of Lourdes grew more and more difficult.
He was looking for the perfect joke, and I guess, it was a joke, but it wasn't perfect. So that is my thoughts. Let me know yours. Was it karmic justice? Was he projecting? He just wrote this book or got it out there, and it would have been to the forefront of his mind. The reaction, I don't know. It's just something to consider. Like I said, it looks like an interesting piece of the puzzle. And I said, let me go ahead and put it on the board. What's this here? Let me see here. I'm not gonna stay long. Yeah, this. I mean, that's what he said. I mean, you can disagree, but that's his own words. So you disagreeing with him. He's telling you what he did. He's telling you how he survived growing up in the 70s and the 80s. He's telling you his playbook. It's not my playbook. It's the words coming from his own mouth. He learned to placate to different audiences because he came from a household of abuse, and he saw, like he just said, that there was safety in laughter. There clearly wasn't safety for Chris Rock in laughter, but in his world, there's safety in laughter. And as long as he can find a way to make each demographic, each person of power laugh, then he could be safe. That's what he said, not me. So I don't know that part. Who you disagreeing with? I'm not suggesting anything. He wrote the book. That's what I'm. Did you hear what he played? I'm not sure if you're hearing what he played. This is his words, not mine. I'm not suggesting anything. This is his words. This is if we're talking about what we're playing right now, yeah, this is his words, this is his observations, it's his life, and I'm just pointing to that there are some parallels between what he noted and what just happened. Or everybody's still 1 week later, what just happened? This just happened, that just happened. And the fact that when you're writing a book and you're actually processing your thoughts, which I suggest everybody does, people be like, yeah, we should write a book, I should write a book. You know how much time, energy, and effort it takes to process your thoughts and process your emotions and write cohesively? It takes a lot. Some people, it can take years to actually go through all of the things that we've collected over time. And in that process, certain things that you have may never have collected before, or connected the dots before, or really thought about it since it happened, they begin to take form and shape. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So for the fact that he went through this process, he was able to see it. I am saying in this space that because it's so similar to what we just witnessed as a collective, I don't think he could have unseen that quickly his thought process around jokes, around rooms of diverse nationalities and appetites of people. I'm suggesting that he was aware, and in that moment, he was playing to a black audience when Chris Rock got Karmic Justice, but then the quick reality of the fact that there was a mixed audience there, the one who actually held the handle, the one who's actually in power of his uh, career, so to say, now he's dealing with the fallout from that. You know what I mean? He if you bomb on a certain joke, like I heard another comedian say, read the room. You know what I mean? So if you read the room and you realize that, what you're about to do is not going to go over in this room, but there may be that he's been playing to the larger audience all this time and it hasn't been satisfactory. I don't know. All I know is that's what he wrote in his book. I found that interesting. Uh, Again, I'm not going to do the projection or what they're making it seem and all of that stuff. I'm not going to do all that. Again, if you just missed it, I played it a number of times. Will Smith speaking about, he's a comedian. Chris Rock is a comedian. They understand rooms, they understand delivery, they understand jokes, they understand all of that, right? They understand people are going to like it, they understand people are not going to like it, all of that. That's just a part of the conversation that I think is interesting to note, that it may have been premeditated. That's what I said. It may have been premeditated. It may have not just been like, oh, I couldn't control myself. It may be like, guess what? And he actually said it, turning the other cheek all this time. That means he's playing to a certain audience and letting it go over. And guess what? Now he's going to go back to the neighborhood. Now he's going to give somebody what they had coming to them and deal with the fallout. And this is the fallout. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Let me go ahead and play a commercial. And if you have any more questions or comments, feel free to do so. If not, we'll talk again later. I'm not staying long this time, y'all. I'm not staying long again. I don't know what's wrong with my little thing here. Hold on.